Thanks everyone for joining us. Hopefully some of you guys got to get to the showgrounds to see the ATSA Expo. If you haven't, you know, it was a great expo to see everything in one place. And what we're going to do is share a PowerPoint presentation just to give people an idea of what it was like, what type of equipment was there. And we've selected, after some feedback, some of the items that we thought was worth sharing on the PowerPoint as well. And we've got some special guests as well that we're going to throw to after the presentation. We've got Hue, Jason, Jack, and Brad, and Jane, who are going to just make some special comments as well. And after that, we'll just open up to a discussion with everyone. If anyone else has attended the ATSA Expo, they can talk about what they thought was worthwhile sharing with each other. So everyone can see the big screen now with AQA and ATSA Expo unique equipment.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, so this is a bit of a summary of what ATSA is. Now, it's in Melbourne every 2 years, so it alternates between the different states. So it's Assistive Technology Supplies Australia. They represent assistive technology suppliers throughout Australia, give the industry a strong and united voice, and their members a business edge through access to the services, tools, and connections. So it's been running since 2000. And pretty much what they do is they bring all the different suppliers together just to showcase the different type of equipment that's beneficial for people with all types of disabilities, not just spinal cord injuries. I'm going to show a little video just to give people a feel of how big and how active it is.
Absolutely a positive experience. It's been so wonderful to see so many customers here and really supporting the innovative nature of the AT sector and all the suppliers here.
ATSA has been very good for us. We've been doing it since we started 12 years ago, and it's been really good for us to connect with the OT and the allied health community, and with all the people that come through the door.
This is a video of the
Expo. To have,
Expo.
people back out, meeting each other. We've had people come from far north Queensland, Tasmania, South Australia, and it's really good to connect again face to face with people.
Perfect. You can't get it better. Really, absolutely. If you look at it on how it should be done, this is an example. Then you have to be at an ATSA Expo.
Everyone's got some really positive feedback, been busy, and it's great to be back after 2 years, that's for sure. Typically, Melbourne's really strong on getting the student OTs out, and we have a lot of nursing home OTs, community OTs here as well.
People have got a really clear idea of what's going to meet their needs, and that's evolving, I think, really rapidly. It's a really exciting time to be part of the industry with, the changes in products and the changes of government sort of support for those products.
End users, previously they got told what they had to have, form, fit and function, what works for you. And today you have choice. So it's more like more of a consumer market where you can get to go out and have a look at what's available and see if it's suitable for you.
The ATSA shows have just got so much positivity. There was just so much engagement and so much enthusiasm and passion for helping people, just from the participants, from the registrants, but also from the suppliers. It's just such enthusiasm and energy.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hi, Lance.
All right, so hopefully you've got an idea of how big it was. You know, you would have seen that there's so much products and organisations out there, and it was huge. It was huge. Just a disclaimer as well. I mean, we're going to be showing lots of products that we thought were unique, and we're coming from AQA, so we're not representing any of these products. So, yeah, don't feel like, you know, just because we're showing some of these products that it's stuff that we recommend people sort of go out and purchase or whatever. But I want to start off with one of the unique items I thought, or we thought, as an organisation stood out. And there was this item here, Trivita. Now, this is the first time I've seen it. And going to show a little video of it as well, but it's pretty unique. What it is, it's a wheel that helps with transferring, I guess. I'll play the video and you can sort of get a better understanding of what I mean. I mean, it's something that, of course, it's not going to be suitable for many people, but it's worthwhile having a look at and seeing, you know, why they developed this. So I'll play this video and we'll go from there. It's actually in German, so apologies for the, I'm not going to be able to translate, but you'll be able to get an idea of how it works.
Ich sitze heute hier mit der Nadine von der Firma Trivita und sie wird mir erklären, was es mit diesem tollen dreiteiligen Rad auf sich hat. Ja, Nadine, erklär doch mal, hau mal raus. Warum habt ihr ein dreiteiliges Rad auf den Markt gebracht?
Hallo Martin, hallo zusammen. Ja, also wir haben hier das Trivita-Rad, ganz frisch gebacken aus dem Ofen. Gerne würde ich euch ganz kurz zeigen, wie es funktioniert und was es auf sich hat. Wir haben uns überlegt, wir möchten Barrierefreiheit ermöglichen. Und es ist oft so, dass die Leute, die im Rollstuhl sitzen, erstmal Schwierigkeiten haben, von der Sitzfläche, vom Rollstuhl auf eine Sitzfläche zu kommen, sei es Sofa oder Bett und so weiter. Und unser Entwickler damals 99 hat sich überlegt, okay, wie könnte man das Problem lösen? Und dann hat er sozusagen das Rad neu erfunden. Und dann kam das teilbare Trivita-Rad. Also Trivita, wie der Name es schon sagt, drei. Das Rad kann man in 3 teilen. Und mit einem einfachen Handgriff, man macht den Hebel runter, dann kommt eine von den Teilen, egal wie rum, kommt raus und dann kann man von der Sitzfläche, vom Rollstuhl auf die Sitzfläche kommen. Und zwar viel einfacher, als wenn man über das Rad rübergehen würde. Also das ist so das Prinzip, wie das funktioniert. Ja.
Also ihr schenkt praktisch Kraft.
Ja, genau. Es wird, man braucht viel weniger Kraft, um sage ich mal, vom Rollstuhl zu, sei es Duschhocke oder sei es Sitzfläche, Sofa, Bett und so weiter. Also man braucht viel weniger Kraft. Aber auch die Leute, die Angehörige pflegen, das ist dann natürlich für die viel einfacher, weil die müssen nicht die Leute von vorne heben, sondern könnten die, auch wenn die Schwierigkeiten haben, einfach die Leute rübersetzen. Viel einfacher, mit viel weniger Kraftaufwand und die könnten viele Probleme wie Rückenschmerzen und so weiter.
Das ist die Idee. Ja, wo kann man sich informieren über das Produkt, das Rad, wenn ich jetzt Rollstuhlfahrer bin oder Pflegerin? Okay.
Sorry, Peter, did you say mute the video?
Yeah, it's a bit annoying, the German. It looks like the wheel comes in 3 pieces. Like so you can split off a third of the wheel at any time to transfer. So I really like this idea because even though it's sort of still a bit of a concept, but it's a functioning concept here, which is really good. But these things start somewhere and then get better and better. But for those that transfer a lot and find it hard to get over the wheel when you transfer on a manual chair, it's good to be able to separate out 1/3 of the wheel to be able to get over it. Hey, Naz, that's why you found it very interesting, because it would help you, hey, Naz? Yeah.
Well, the good thing about it is for people that can't lift over a wheel, for example, you know, you just slide across. You take that section out and you can slide across to, you know, the couch or the bed or wherever it may be. So that's a really good benefit of it. And I'm guessing the negative part of it is, of course, it's not going to be pneumatic, so it's going to be a solid tyre. So I don't know how that's going to roll or anything like that, but, you know, it's good to see or know that there's positives and negatives about it. But I thought that was pretty unique and worthwhile sharing with people.
I might bring on Grant for a second. Grant, you've raised your hand for a question.
Yeah, so I've been following some of the developments around this product and other products over the years. And one of the big things that's I've wasn't at ATSA and I've not seen this particular product, but there are a few things that really stand out to me as really great steps as far as accessibility goes. So not only does it seem to help with transfers, but the fact that the wheel can actually be pulled apart into multiple pieces, so you can store it in your car more easily, or when you're flying, you can take those parts, pull it apart and be able to put it in, say, an overhead locker. And it sounds like they're getting to a point where it fits standard axles, whereas the original concepts around these foldable wheels actually needed a very specific chair to fit it. So yeah, I'm really keen to see what happens with this.
Yeah, it's interesting. I like the idea. I imagine the tyre won't be as good as, you know, pneumatics on a normal wheelchair, but I reckon they'll, as more development gets into it, it will get better and better. Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks for that, Grant. And so we'll move to the next product. So this one, again, it's a unique product. It's called the Gecko Track. So pretty much it's a portable and affordable attachment to a manual wheelchair, and that is useful to go over soft terrain like the beach or you know, sand or dirt and all that sort of stuff. So I've got a little video of this. It's only a short one. It's about a minute, and I'll cut it short because there's actually another part of the video that's not, you know, it talks about a different subject. So I'll run that through. And this was from the ABC News. Actually, where is it? Not.
Australia's top young innovators are hoping for a jump start in a program designed to make their ideas a reality. They've been selected from hundreds of applicants and they all plan to make it big. Social Affairs correspondent Norman Hermont reports.
It's something any wheelchair user knows all too well. Off the mat and onto the sand, and you struggle to go anywhere. But these business partners have a solution. Adaptable tracks that fit over the main wheels. Going over sand still takes a big push, but it works.
Everything's going to take effort, but this actually allows me to be able to actually do it, whereas it's almost impossible before that. The tire actually flares out at the bottom.
22-year-old Ryan Tilley is the designer of Gecko Tracks. Lightweight, easy to use, and one of 7 participants in the Young Social Pioneers program to receive $10,000 in seed funding.
A lot of people have said, why hasn't this been done before? It's something that we think is a very simple solution.
The partners say the money is a huge boost.
Once we've scaled up this product, proven it in Australia, the next place is to take it globally.
45 innovators are invited into the Foundation for Young Australians program.
So I'm sorry, I had to stop that there, but yeah, that pretty much gives a summary of what the product is. You know, you can attach and you can do it yourself onto any manual wheelchair, where as you're pushing, the bottom the footprint actually expands. So it's like you're pushing it over more of a solid surface. The next item is...
Great concept. It's less equipment you've got to take when you go to the beach, Naz.
Exactly, yeah. A Well, again, that's going to suit some people and not others as well, but it's pretty creative. Another thing that stood out to me was the different types of clothing that manufacturers make to suit people with disabilities. I'll run through some of the ones over here. So now these products are all made by Tommy Hilfiger, so the fashion group, and they've got a line that they've developed for people in wheelchairs or disabilities. I've just selected a few items to go through. So this one's a shirt, and actually you can't really see it, but where the buttons usually are, looks like they're real buttons, but they attach by a magnet, pretty solid magnet, and just makes it easier for people that haven't got finger function to do up the buttons. Again, this is the same shirt, what it looks like. They've got jackets that work the same way, and also jeans. I mean, instead of having a zipper and a button, they've got a version of jeans that have got elastic bands, so you put it on like a tracksuit, I guess. And of course, they've got your standard jeans, with button and zippers as well. But the thing, you can't see it on this, but the back pockets and the studs have been removed. So they've thought about all these things.
And there's that webpage, what does it say?
Everyhuman.com.au.
Yep. And is that just all Tommy Hilfiger, or do they have a collection?
I think they got other brands as well. So it's not just Tommy Hilfiger. And I had a look at the prices, and they're not. I mean, they're not cheap, but they're not expensive as well for what you're getting. If people are into wearing stylish clothes and all that sort of stuff, it's quite reasonable.
Awesome, yeah. It's one of the requests that we get quite often at AQA over the years about clothes and who does them. So this is really good info. I went and checked out their stand. I really liked their line. It was they really tried to make it look really just like normal garments, but with the disability things built into it, that suit us and our different needs. They made zippers look trendy, and they had shoes that the complete top of them zipped open, and it was just good access type ideas, and they were really willing to listen to you and hear your ideas. But there was also quite a few other companies doing clothing there, and it's good to see that area getting more interest for people, because those people who've got NDIS, if you're self-funded, you can always use buy any of this equipment or clothing through your NDIS plan. As long as you've got that core and you can put it under AT, assistive technology, and you can sort of purchase that sort of stuff if you're a self-funded person. So that's interesting, and something that's not hugely expensive and fits in that AT level 1 and 2 for NDIS people. So yeah, great. So you got your hand up. Jump in.
Yeah, sorry, I'm kind of really fascinated with various assistive technology and low-cost items. So I know that Every Human aren't an official NDIS provider, but if you are self-managed, you can claim things back via low cost in core. And one particular area that I've got from them at the moment, but what I've done is bought a raincoat from them, and I've bought a raincoat from another company called Kinetic Balance. And between both of them, it protects my legs and my upper body, and it stops a lot of water draining onto my chair, which means particularly coming into winter, I'm going to be a little bit more protected. And I got that stuff mainly because I'm walking a dog. So it's got for me, it's got a very specific purpose, but it's really good to see how different companies are now providing products that you can combine together to make things a lot easier.
Yeah, I agree. Especially like a high fashion company like this, taking in mind to make a line of clothing to suit people with wheelchairs is really fantastic. Just with this, just wanted to talk about this photo with the guy in the suit. You know, so what they've done is, you know, when you're sitting down, your jeans sort of pull up and you can see your ankles and all that sort of stuff. So what they've done is, you know, just built an extra length for the pants, and with the jacket, for example, the length isn't as long, and you know, it's designed in a way where it won't catch on to the wheels. And as Peter mentioned, there were other companies there that were selling clothing, modified clothing as well. This is another example. This is caringclothing.com.au, and again, you know, they've got shirts that where the buttons don't actually work. It's an elastic, so you pretty much wear it like a jumper, which is a really good idea, a practical solution. You know, they've got clothing where you know, you can attach it using Velcro, for example. So really good ideas, but bringing it out into mainstream clothing companies.
You'll find a lot of these companies too want your feedback and to customize stuff that that suits you the best, because, you know, not everyone fits everybody or has the same sort of requirements. So, you know, that's why you go, when you contact these people, you talk about what that is and how you need it, customize it.
Yeah, exactly, Peter. This other one here, I thought this would be worthwhile sharing, only because it's an organisation. They are linked to lots of local councils as well, but what they've done is with this website, you know, as the heading says, they're connecting people with disabilities to sport and recreation activities in Victoria. So it's like a database. So all you got to do is select the sport there, and you know what your age is, where you live, pretty much which region you're from, and it tells you everything that's in that area. You know, be it physical fitness or fishing or you know, tennis, basketball. Just gives you all a list of results in that area. I thought this is a fantastic idea, you know, especially for people, you know, not just in regional areas, but metropolitan Melbourne as well. So all over the place. So this is worthwhile people checking out, I think.
Yeah, I had a good chat to these guys as well, and they come with lived experience. Some of the people that work for this organisation, and it's like a big database, and they play sport or they had, you know, disabilities themselves, so they understood and were searching and talking about the right stuff that really made sense. So that's a membership type thing that you can get involved with these guys. Yeah.
The next one here, you know, incontinence is a big area, and you know, there's quite a few companies that sell, you know, catheters and leg bags and a whole range of stuff. But Hollister was there with a stall, and I thought it would be quite interesting in talking about some of the products that they've developed quite recently around COVID. Actually got Jane here as well. I'm not sure if Jane wants to make any comments, but as you can see, this is taken straight from their website. You know, I mean, they've got a few items there. You can see the pocket intermittent catheter, you know, condom drainage, I call it, but sheaths, as well as intermittent catheters as well. And they've also got this service as well. A lot of people don't realise, you know, organisations like Hollister, they don't just sell products, but they provide a service as well in trying to, you know, work out what your issues, what your options are around catheters, you know, bladder and bell and all that sort of stuff. I don't know, Jane, if you're there, did you want to say a few things about this?
Well, look, it was our first expo we've attended as a company, so it was amazing. It's one of the biggest events that we've been involved with, and from a company's point of view, we deal a lot with clinicians, with continence nurses, spinal nurses, with specialists, but to have that engagement with the end user, it was amazing. So we had a lot of clients coming up to us talking about some of them were using our products, but some were not, and just trying to help with some of their issues. and things like that. So having that really close sort of interaction there and then, it was really quite powerful, really. And yeah, as you mentioned, we did launch a couple of products last year in COVID, which you had on the previous screen, really compact, discreet, touch-free, that are helping with some clients, in the bottom right-hand corner there, helping prevent potential urinary tract infections with patients using intermittent catheters a few times a day. So that was really well received. So yeah, from a company's point of view, we found it really worthwhile attending. So yeah.
I also like what you guys do with Hollister, getting people on board with NDIS and how you support them. Talk a bit about that, Jane. That's really
that's the next slide, Naz. Thank you, Peter. Thank you for allowing me to come along to have a brief chat. That's part of our big support program for clients. It's called Secure Start. So it can be for existing patients that are on the rehab wards and having intermittent catheters that are new to them. So we can support them until they get their NDIS funding or TAC. It can be a couple of weeks or up to a couple of months, but it can be also for patients and clients in the community that might have been on a product for a number of years, but they seem to be getting lots of UTIs, urinary tract infections, and sometimes not until you try a new product, if you do like it and if you want to, upgrade your NDIS continence plan, it might be something that we can support you for a couple of months until you get the funding through. But saying that, it's really important. We highlighted your continence assessments. If you haven't had one done for a couple of years, there's a lot of private nurses out there that we can put you in touch with. They don't work for us as a company, but there's a lot of, whether it be male or female nurses too. That's really important. Depending on what product you're using, I would really be quite vocal about it. Make sure, and that's to be taken care of with your NDIS plans or your TAC funding and things like that. So being a clinical nurse myself, I'm really, I harp on this a lot. So it's really important. I advise everyone to get a continence assessment every couple of years if you can too.
Yeah, I vouch for that. It's a good idea. We seem to not know what, especially people going through NDIS, you have to make your plan up once a year and present it to NDIS. But if you get help from an organisation who know continence equipment and know the different stuff, they can write up your whole plan, what you need when you're out, what you need when you're home, and then present that to NDIS, and then that's a free service that can be done. And all these incontinence type organisations can help you with that. So it's good for people to get backed up with that info and easier than trying to figure it out yourself. Also, introducing you to products that are new, because we sometimes I do get stuck in my ways or stuck with what I know. But when something else comes up that's new and better, well, I love to know about it. And these sort of people always know about that, so it's important.
In saying that too, a lot of people want to trial different products as well, and of course, you've got to pay for different products as well. When I was speaking to you, Jane, you mentioned if people want to trial different samples, they can just get in touch and just get some some items just to trial if it's going to work for them or not.
That's right. It's all free, and I'll put my details. I'll send a message out to everyone. Sorry if you not interested, but if anyone wants to take a screenshot, they can feel free to contact me later. I know content is a very private issue too. So whether it be me or other companies, make sure you're trying to. If you're happy with the products, that's great. But sometimes there's some new portable stuff when you're traveling. If you need to use intermittent catheters on planes or in cars, if you're not near toilets, that's really important too. There's some new products on the market too. So I'll put my details there if that can be helpful. So thanks, guys. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Jane.
Am I mobile? Can you hear me? Frank.
Yeah, go, Frank.
I've been in the wheelchair about 32 years, and the last 18 months, I've had blockage after blockage after blockage with the catheter, and it was a microfilm building up on the balloon. Got to the end where I was going to the hospital every second night to get a catheter changed. We got in contact with the continence nurse at Grace McKellar, and she put me on a product called Microdox, and we insert 20 mil of that in the morning, hold it in there for 2 minutes and drain it, and we do the same at night, and there's no sign of microfilm buildup at all. It's clear, and it's first time I've had about 3 weeks without a catheter blockage.
This isn't the NDIS meeting.
It's called microducts. There's 500 ml in a bottle.
I've got it.
And I can use, with a syringe, I can get about 12 days out of that.
That's a bladder wash. That's a actual bladder washout.
It is. It's a bladder washout. It's a clear, non-toxic product. It has no effect or side effect at all. And we just use a large syringe, put 20 ml in, draw 20 ml out plus a bit of urine. And if there is any muck in there, it just comes out.
No, that's fantastic. Thanks very much for that, Frank. I was going to say, if anyone wants to follow up on any of this further, get in touch with us. You know, if someone wants to speak to Frank, for example, or Peter, or
okay, it's available through the content supply at AQA or Independence Online.
Yeah, Independence Australia. Yeah. Right. So if anyone's got any questions, if they don't get a chance to ask now, please get in touch and we'll get you the information. Okay. So any other comments on that?
Yeah, I was just going to say there's quite a few different types of bladder washouts that are available now. So it's just not this one that Frank's speaking about. So, you know, that's a good
way. Yeah, but
I tried Urotane and that was absolutely useless.
It's not about incontinence.
But maybe we'll hit those questions at the end.
Yeah.
Get this continence or this PowerPoint presentation, and then we can talk further about that at the end.
All right, so we'll move on, and we'll come back to that. Another item that I thought was really interesting is, you know, this is a new wheelchair company that's in Australia. It's actually in Melbourne, so it's a super lightweight wheelchair. It was the first time I've seen it, but what they do is they 3D print titanium, and they actually use titanium and carbon fiber in their wheelchairs. And again, it's a manual wheelchair. I think a lot of work has gone into developing this, and it weighs under 8 kilos, for example. So if anyone's interested in what an average wheelchair weighs, it's probably about lightweight wheelchair. It's probably about 11 kilos. So, you know, what's that make it? You know, nearly 20, 30% lighter than your standard lightweight wheelchair. So I thought that was really, really interesting to see that, you know, an Australian company has put the technology or the research and development into designing a product like this.
Yeah, that picture doesn't actually represent it too well, but the part where it's really good, where the chair is different and like the length or the height, all those different parts, all those parts are interchangeable and you can swap them around. So bolt them together to make the chair different sizes to fit yourself. And that's where it makes the chair really unique and different to others, which is a great idea. Yeah.
Right, and the next item is around pressure care. So I think as we were chatting, Peter, this one came up. So it's called the Freedom Bed. It's actually a bed that rotates, so you don't have to, you know, go slide to side and worry about like pressure sores or anything like that. This is a video that I've got online, so apologies for the video. It's actually pretty average, I've got to say ahead of time, but you'll get an idea of what it's like. So let me play that quickly.
The Freedom Bed of choice for the immobilized individual who wants more independence and more freedom of control over their life. What makes the Freedom Bed so special is its innovative mechanical repositioning system that allows it to be precisely adjusted in 1 degree increments for pre-programmed automatic rotation to prevent or manage pressure ulcers and respiratory problems. For added independence and freedom, the bed can be optionally voice controlled, which will allow you to use your phone or operate your TV, DVD, VCR, lights, fans, use the computer and surf the internet, and operate other pieces of equipment in the room or the entire home. Unlike other medical beds that are jerky, noisy, and uncomfortable, the Freedom Bed is smooth, whispered quiet, and as comforting as a warm, gentle breeze. Perfect for your first good and uninterrupted night's sleep. Another amazing feature of the Freedom Bed is the use of air to raise and lower the head and legs. The leg raising system is ergonomically designed to limit an individual from sliding down in their bed. It also reduces heel pressure, a usual source of many pressure ulcers. The head raising system initially cradles you to make you feel secure, and it can be elevated and still permit repositioning. This is particularly important for people with respiratory problems such as addressing aspiration pneumonia. The Freedom Bed can be raised to a maximum of 34 inches in height to prevent back injuries, or lowered for easy access to a wheelchair. Notice the clearance under the bed for easy insertion of lifts or overbed food tables, as well as effortless housekeeping. In addition, the entire bed can be angled with the head up or down. People with respiratory problems or tube feeding have the head of the bed elevated, together with the head raiser while in auto rotation to treat respiratory problems or to facilitate feeding. Thank you for taking the time today to learn about the Freedom Bed.
So as you can see, it's like it's based off a hospital bed, I guess, and it's designed for the home. So it's more compact, looks nicer, all that sort of stuff.
It's a good concept, you know, you don't have to call on carers in the middle of the night to roll you and things like that. So it's something you can manage through your phone and voice activated software, which is a great idea. There's a few concepts of that idea, like that can turn you in bed and without using it, care assistance. So one to look out for, and really interesting. Yeah. Don't know if I like the name, don't know if it's Freedom. That's okay. In a sense, yeah.
Well, so this item here is new on the market, or I'm guessing it's new on the market, but it's called New Plus. I thought it's pretty unique. A lot of people, when they're getting pressure tested for new cushion, you know, you might go to the Royal Talbot and get a pressure map where it highlights your pressure points, I guess, that might cause you issues. This item here is pretty much a similar, it's got the similar idea behind it. It's actually a pad that sits underneath your cushion on your wheelchair. So throughout the day, it actually logs your activity and tells you, you know, if you're doing a particular activity and it's causing a lot of pressure in a specific area, that you can be proactive and do something about it before it happens. So it's linked to your phone as well, and you can sort of see the pressure points and all that sort of stuff throughout the day. So again, the pad, you can't really see it there, but it's on the wheelchair, and the app actually shows you different views of you know, what you've done throughout the day, and show you this picture here. So this one here, pretty much the colors identify higher or lower pressure areas in your body throughout the day. So you can work out, if you're doing a particular area, how much pressure it's actually putting on your bum.
Great idea this. I sometimes have skin issues, and so I call in OTs to pressure map me to see where the issues are. And you know, as I've got older, my skin's changed, and then I couldn't find the issue. But then if I through an OT and getting pressure mapped, I found that it was my pressure was more in the car bouncing around. But this is the sort of thing, having this, I wouldn't have had to call an OT in. I could have just done it myself and seen where the risky area times are when I'm in, you know, what highlights. So really good idea. I like this. Yeah. It's also a bit harder sometimes with Roho's cushions. I've always been a gel cushion user. Like getting into a Roho cushion, I was always a bit not really knowing the optimum pressure for me. So this is a good way of saying, finding what pressure is good for you in your Roho cushion. So, you know, got many pluses to it. Yeah.
Right. So that's pretty much the end of the slides. But If people want to see a list of the different exhibitors, I was going to put on those slides as well, but there was like a couple of hundred, and it would have taken quite a few pages to put them. But I can share that with you guys if you want to have a copy of it.
Yeah, let me try that.
Yeah, down the track.
Well, it's actually a key.
So what I'll do, I'll just stop sharing. And then over to Peter to invite, our special guest speakers, Peter, who we know attended the ATSA Expo, and just talk about what they saw or what they thought of the actual event, because as people saw on that video, it's actually a huge event. I mean, all those products under one roof was really good to see, and it was run over 2 days. You could have gone over there for 2 days and still not been able to see everything there in detail.
Yeah, so I'm going to start with Julie, because I rang Julie up before this meeting and she said, I can only stay till 3 o'clock. Excuse me, I've got an appointment. I said, that's fine. So, so Julie, tell us what you thought was good about the Expo, and share 1 or 2 things. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
I was actually looking at I've just got a new bed myself, but I was actually, I like the concept of being able to go out and have a look at the different beds, the different varieties of beds. And I think overall, the whole expo, there was a good variety. But I found that I felt that there were less exhibitors than what there was in the first one 3 years ago. I felt it was a little bit smaller, but I mean, the context was still really good and very practical. Some of the things that I didn't see, one of them was like in regards to bed sheeting supplies and things like that, because last time there was a company and they made sheeting for people with incontinence and things like that, which is a really good idea. And it was like your doona covers and also your sheeting and things like that. So, if you had an accident, didn't go straight through the whole doona and things like that. So I was actually looking for them, but I couldn't find them at all. But no, I felt that overall, there was still a lot to see and a lot to take in, and heaps of cars galore. The cars are excellent, different ideas. And
that's good. Now, a quick answer to that question about sheets and doonas. I just go to any manufacturer that actually make it themselves rather than the mass-produced places. So I find a little out of the way places that make sheets and make doonas, and I just ask them to make it bigger, or the size that I need. So I live sort of near Coburg, and Coburg's got a bit of an sort of clothes and manufacturing area. So, there's a few people out there that just specialise in linen, and they do bigger doonas and sheets for me. That's just really quickly. But also, Karen has asked a few questions. She'd love to know what sort of bed did you go for and why?
Well, I actually went for the bed that I got.
Yes, please.
I tried quite a few, and I ended up, because I've got a Kylie on my bed, I couldn't have a Roho cushion on my bed, which I had on my previous bed. So what I've gone through for a supportive memory foam mattress. I've only had it since the beginning of this week. And I actually went through Ada Care, and I got an idea.
Okay.
Yeah. And I found that they were really good. The service was really good. I was able to go in, lie down, trial, lay there as long as I wanted to. the bed that I've got is really good because it'll drop down low enough for easy transfers to help with my transfers. It will also does have like the backrest will go up, and also you've got that the feet, they go up, so sort of like you've got that zero gravity, I guess, that you sort of yeah. So, and I'm finding it so far is really comfortable. Yeah, but no, they're really good in the product. It took me a long time though to work out what I wanted and what functions I needed and things like that, and going through the OT and but, yeah, but I found that they were really helpful too. The only problem is I've got the one that I've got, it comes in, it's a long single, and I wanted a side from my husband as well. So, and it's sort of like it makes it like it's almost like having two single beds together. So now I've sort of got to get trying to get sheeting for it has been a little bit difficult, because I like to have two fitted sheets, and then I've got a queen bed flat sheet on top, and then I've got my Juna cover. So I sort of had to go out and buy each sheet individual. So yeah, but overall I'm very happy with it.
I'll put you into a good contact for sheets and do this, Julie. Yeah, but yeah, beds is a common thing because we all have one, of course. But the options are getting more and more of companion beds for your partner, beds that go raise up and down, beds that are especially made for your pressure needs. You can have beds built in with row hose in them to look after vulnerable areas. You know, there's lots of options in beds. So into it, and now the electronics are coming into it, where you can have voice command and control your bed and roll from side to side. There's lots of options, which is fantastic to see and hear. Yeah.
Thanks, Julie. We could probably have a whole session on beds, so I won't. I won't say. I'm trialing one at the moment, so
yeah,
a
different company. Yeah, thank you.
No worries.
But it's always great to grab an OT with experience with fitting, because the OTs are good at this, and you know, you can ask questions, you can ring them up, and you know, see who's got the answers for you. And that's why these forums here and AQA and other organisations ask those questions. People, we've got, you know, the community's got the answers, definitely. All right, thanks, Julie. That was good. Good to hear. An important thing that we tend to often miss is beds. We all use one. Yeah. I might jump across to Jace. Jace, how you going? You came down from Bendigo to the Expo, so it's good to see you there. What did you get out of it? That you thought was good?
Yeah, I thought it was really good, Pete. I'm actually looking at getting a new wheelchair soon, and I've seen a few things on the internet, but it was really good because there was lots of wheelchairs there with all the new options. And yeah, well, I've pretty much found my next chair, and it was good to be able to see it, get a bit of a demonstration, and know which company. You know, I can actually get it locally as well. That they're linked. There's a local company that's linked with the supplier. So it's good to be able to talk to the people, you know, that are going to, you know, potentially supply the chair, and find out that they do support people in regions for trials, and can come up and, you know, if you need parts, then actually discuss with them where the chairs come from and where they're built. So,
what sort of aspects were you looking for? What were important to you when you were looking for a chair?
Well, I wanted a new feature to be able to stand.
You might have
a
here
little
in
bit.
the
I
camera.
can support a little bit of weight in the leg, but
You're on the other side. You probably.
It was good to be able to see one in action of how they operate, and I wanted central wheel drive as well. I just find them a bit easier to manoeuvre. The All Tracks is the chair I looked at, and you can change the center wheel, so you can put a bigger, you can have your standard tires on it, or you can have the bigger all-terrain tire on it as well. So I thought that was, you know, a pretty handy feature. And it's got all the other, still got your lift, seated lift, and your tilt in space, and yeah, all the features as normal power chairs, as well as having the stand feature as well. So.
Yeah, so it's a good opportunity to showcase a lot of chairs all in one place and see what works for you and speak to the manufacturers.
Yeah.
A good thing that you actually pointed out to me was a simple thing that I thought was really good. I used those tight socks, the thrombotic socks, and you showed me that plastic thing that people can just put them on. Yeah. What was that company called?
It's called Easy As. And for anyone that wears compression stockings, you probably find it's really frustrating watching some of the carers that help you put them on. This thing allows, you can sort of see in the picture, it's a half round plastic adaptation, and they roll the compression stocking on, and that slips up over your foot, and then basically you slide the sock off on your leg, pull this adaptation out, and then they can roll the sock down. And yeah, it just worked really easy. The guy actually did a demonstration for me, and I'll be purchasing one of these. But yeah, they're called Easy As, and you can go on. They got a website. You just go, www.easyas.com, and they've got demonstration videos. I think they're only like $60, so they weren't very expensive. But yeah, I found that as a really handy solution to something that you didn't realise it frustrated me as much as what it does, until I seen how easy it was with this guy using it. So yeah, that's a very handy.
They also showed me another type that was for people that were more independent and couldn't bend down far to reach the sock, and it was an extension that you just pulled it on with, and it was a really good, easy concept as well, and easy, and all this sort of stuff fits under, if you're an NDIS participant, fit in low level 18, you can just purchase it. So NDIS can pay for it.
You might be able to see that's what Peter's talking about. There's a elastic adaptation that can grab onto the product that pulls it up your leg yourself. Anyway.
Good stuff. Thanks, Jace. Yeah. Now we'll jump over to Jack. Jack, you're
Peter, sorry, before you go, someone just made a comment, I think, to Karen's question about linen. They say try linen to have for a special king sheet set. And there's also a website there. So just a bit of advice if anyone wants to see that, or you can. And also there's a couple of questions for Jane. Does Hollister provide leg bags? And are you a continence nurse?
Yes. Yes, I'm actually following that up with Anthony. I've taken all the details of that, so on top of it. I'm not a continence nurse, but I'm a registered nurse, so that clarifies things. But happy to give advice if needed.
No, good, thanks. And Anthony's got his hand up. I'm guessing he wanted to ask that question. Anyway, we'll come back to him. Sorry, Peter, back to you.
Yeah, no, I think that question was from Jane. Sorry, I missed that. So thanks for that. That's a good point. A good link for linen for your king size single beds, which a lot of people use. So you'll see that in the chat down lower, a link to that website. So thanks, John. Yeah. But we'll jump over to Jack. Jack, you were one of the people that went both days. You enjoyed it that much, and probably talking too much to all the people around there, but getting around, being a social butterfly. Tell us more about it. What you found enjoyable?
Well, it was definitely worth going the 2 days. I went the last one they had a few years ago and run around it and didn't see enough of it in one day. So I thought this time I'll book in for both days. And I spent the first day like going around just to try and see everything. And then the next day went back to things that after having a think overnight, which was good too, because I was interested in the beds a bit, the ones that roll you over. And there was a couple of different ones. There was that Freedom bed, which Naz just showed us. And there was another one there that rolled the sheets up and down each side. And the Freedom one, it was a good looking thing, but it didn't roll you right on your side. I sort of like to be able to like flip right over. And it was 50 grand. And the other one was the sheets one that rolled the sheets up each side, and it was a good looking thing. But then once I went home and started thinking about it too much, with my SPC hooked up to a night bag, I started thinking if I'm rolling too far from one side to the other, I'm going to get all tangled up and with no feel and then not enough hands to do anything about it. But it was well worth the look and have a good think about it. And the other thing that was good down there was the clothes stuff. That place store you showed before, and I've ordered a pair of the shoes that actually unzip all the way to the front, and they seem like rippers. And also ordered a pair of swimming shorts with the leg bag pocket in them from the Adaptive Narelle, I think it is. And things like that you sort of don't see anywhere else, but it was well worth a look around down there just to see what's out there.
Tell me a bit more about these shorts with that you can put the leg bag in it, so it's an inbuilt pocket or something.
Yeah, it's shorts, swimming shorts with a inbuilt pocket. I run a thigh bag anyway, but with a zipped up pocket that you can get at from the inside, and have your thigh bag tied into the shorts. Because usually when I go swimming, you usually end up with your leg bag can trail it along behind you, hanging out the bottom of your shorts. So yeah, Narelle makes these. I haven't seen them yet, but I reckon it's going to be the idea is perfect, and I reckon she'll do a good job and send me some down.
Yeah. So yeah, I ordered some pants off Narelle too. She's from Split Back, and she makes jeans for me. And as I've got older, my skin's got more sensitive, but she'll make the jeans and they look really good. And then she'll cut out the whole back and take out and replace it with one material piece, so there's no seams or anything like that. And that's something that she custom made for me, which is a really good idea. So if these people, from these different organisations, they'll custom make stuff that's to suit you. So and it's not incredibly dear; it's good value, and especially if I'm not going to have pressure sores. Yeah, so yeah, lots of. And I met her at the Expo too a couple of years ago, which was, since then we've kept going on and getting things done. She makes my gloves and other things, yeah. But there's lots of companies out there, and it's good to align with that. Yeah.
Well, that's the same thing with gloves. I ordered a pair of push gloves off her as well, but then I got around to little Linny's brother-in-law's stall, and they had a nearly actually better set of push gloves. Also, I'm going to get myself a pair of them too. They look like good things. It's just the amount of different things you see. You just got to pick what will work for you. Having them all in one place is great.
Naz, do you remember Steve Mollison's web page and name? What that was called?
Willability.
Willability. Willability is that's who you're talking about. And he's a link, and he tries to put as many different things as possible that because he's actually a wheelchair user himself, not just gloves, might be nets for under the chair, all those sorts of different things. He's got catalogued on his website, and he's got a good list of things. Tires, this and that, and all sorts of different bits and pieces. And
rubbers too, for your push rubbers for your push rims too.
Yeah. Sorry, Jack, come back.
Yeah, they could at that stall too for your push rings, for your manual chair.
Oh yeah. So yeah, push rings for quads. Now you use push rings, so fingers don't get caught in between the ring and the wheel. You sort of use a different push rim, don't you?
Yeah, my push rims are actually, can't remember what they're called, but it's got a rubber coating over the steel push rim. So you don't have to use gloves as much as you normally would. You know, if you're going really long distances, then it's worthwhile chucking on some gloves. But short distances, it's you get enough cushioning and grip just with the rubber on the push rim.
You get all different sorts of push rims that don't have a gap, that are more flat, so you don't get your fingers caught in between. So there's lots of options in that sort of stuff as well. Yeah. Now, Jack, you've recently got back into driving in the last few years, and so you know the driving stuff at the Expo is pretty good too, isn't it? Accessible, the type of vehicles you can get, and all the apparatuses to be able to drive. It's really good and keeps getting better and better every year. Did you check much of that out, Jack?
Yeah, well, 3 years ago when we were there was basically only bloody Capital and Auto Mobility were building cars, and now I reckon there was about 6 of them there. And yeah, pretty full on what they're doing. Getting more and more complicated, but some pretty interesting stuff. And it's great to see that plenty of them are having a go.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a range of options that with apparatuses and assistive equipment to help people to drive is getting much better. Lots and lots of options. I was actually had somebody that was going to join us today that was looking at different vehicles, but she couldn't make it. So maybe next time we'll get to do a special thing about cars. There's a lot of info about cars. Yeah. All right, we might jump over to Brad. How are you today, Brad?
Good, thank you. So I just had to unmute myself. Can you hear me?
So we saw you at the Expo, Brad, and saw a few things. What did you get out of it?
Well, first of all, I was just pretty amazed at the size of it, to be honest. I wasn't sure what to expect when I got there, and I only went on the Wednesday, which I wasn't able to on Tuesday anyway, but had I known, I would have probably planned better so I could go both days. As it was, I was sort of rushing around on Wednesday trying to get to see as much stuff as I could. Excuse me. So yeah, that was the first thing. And a few products obviously that have been mentioned before that sort of struck me was, as Nez mentioned before, the Rove wheelchairs were pretty amazing with the 3D printed titanium parts. Just to really, obviously, a huge reduction in wheelchair weight, which I've been in my current, excuse me, current manual wheelchair for nearly 2 years now, and it's got quite a bit of weight to it because it's still got a lot of adjustments that they made to, or had to allow adjustments. So backrest size, axle position, height of the seat, etc., all that sort of stuff. Which to have all that those adjustments available to you in a chair, it also adds a lot of weight as well. So when it comes time to get my new chair, another chair, maybe another year or two, I'm not sure how long it will be, but certainly weight will be a big factor in terms of trying to reduce it as much as possible. So things like that and new technologies like that are pretty amazing to see.
Yeah. It was also interesting, it wasn't just equipment there, and something that you brought up which was important too, Grant. There was a lot of talks, a different range of talks, and they went both days, and it was back to back from 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. every day. Every half hour or an hour there's a different, and I think there was 2 different rooms going before these talks, maybe 3 rooms. So
no, I think they actually had 4 rooms. I think 4 rooms. So it was pretty amazing. All 4 rooms going around the clock, basically with different talks. I did manage to get to one talk on the Wednesday, which was about changes to the building code, the impact on home modifications. And you can look this up. There's a website on the Centre for Universal Design. Jane Bringoff was the lady who did the presentation, and she was just presenting on basically the National Construction Code that had been presented, and as it stands at the moment, there's only 3 states, Victoria, Queensland and ACT, that are going to implement it straight away as of September 22nd this year. So all new buildings have to have certain requirements in terms of accessibility and taking into consideration all of those sort of things in new builds as well, which is quite interesting.
No, really good to hear. It's so yeah, quite a few talks, and I think if you go onto the ATSA Expo website, they record most of the talks, and they're up there to view. Yeah. So
yeah, I believe a lot of the presenters made available their presentations in downloadable form as well, so you could go and get their actual copies of their presentations as well. I believe a few of them.
No, it's really interesting because it was talks about NDIS. There was just so many talks going on. I think Naz, you did a talk as well, didn't you?
Yeah, we gave a presentation as well on the benefits of lived experience, in regards to peaceful wheelchair skills, transport, just getting motivated in getting out there pretty much in traveling and all that sort of stuff. So we discussed the benefits of lived experience as in us in trying to motivate others with disabilities in trying to reach their goals, getting out there into the public, using public transport and getting better, improving their skills in their wheelchairs as well.
So how many people came in on your talk, Naz? It gets quite busy, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, the rooms were quite, when the rooms held probably about 100, 80 to 100 people, and we probably, had about 70 people, I think, attend, which is really good. Good to see interest in there as well.
Maybe Jane, did you go to any talks on the day?
I heard Naz and Josh's talk, and it was very motivational. Whenever I hear them talk, it's very, yes, it's lovely to hear. But yeah, they had a lot of questions, and yeah, that was the main talk that I listened to. Yeah.
No, it was the one worthwhile seeing, Jane. So thanks for coming to that. Josh has actually got some people at the Royal Talbot in a room, and we'll get him to sort of have a chat later on as well. I think we just love what we do, and yeah, we just want to spread the word out there.
With you, Brad, is there anything you'd like to add?
It's one other thing that I, in particular, that I had a bit of fun with was I found a stand that has as you put the pictures up on there now, like the freewheel attachments that go on the front of the wheelchairs, and in particular there was a motorised one, which I did find the stand in my manual here. It was Mogo wheelchairs, M-O-G-O wheelchairs, and they had in particular Bartek mobility range, which was motorised electric wheel that basically attaches to the front of your manual wheelchair, allows you to get around hands-free, and obviously using the electric motor, etc. And that was great fun. Actually, I'd never really certainly haven't trialed anything like that before. So I had to transfer into one of their manual wheelchairs that had the attachment there, which the attachment is easily fixed to most manual wheelchairs, from what I understand. So, but yeah, transferred into their manual chair, and you just hook the motorised wheel up to the front, lays you back a little bit. Well, it takes a little bit of getting used to in terms of that position, but then scooting off around the expo, and those things were fantastic.
Yeah, these are starting to get really popular. Lots of different options in these. You can find some that go really fast, and I've heard of. There's actually an article in the paper about a year ago, and maybe a bit more. Some guy was clocked doing 50k with one of those things for a speed trap. And so yeah, they're amazing things that really open up. This is another brand here that Naz has shown, just a nice little easy one.
Yeah, the different brands. I actually saw Brian. Brian has joined us as well. I know he uses one, and he loves it. He gets around pretty much all around the town using one of these. Not sure if Brian's still here.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
To that.
I've done nearly.
You got coming time. Yeah.
I've done nearly 7,000 kilometres with mine.
Oh, fantastic. So sometimes it's easier to hook that up than jump in a car, Brian.
Oh, yeah, I don't drive around Ballarat. I just use the machine. Yeah.
And is it easy to hook up to your chair? Tell us about how that goes.
Yeah, no, there's just 4 fitting points to the thing. Lifts your front wheels off, so it's basically a 3-wheel motorbike, and you can set the speed. It's a 5-speed gearbox, and you can set it at, well, up to 25 if you want to. So, but I'm a bit more conservative now. It's probably down about 15, but no, it's a great concept. I wonder whether those guys that did the 3D wheelchair, whether they could strengthen that front bit to actually connect the fly to that too. That'd be a real asset.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. It's and like you said, there's lots of different options now. You can get smaller ones for the shoppers to get around the supermarket, or you can get more off-roading type ones, and they're really good to see people get out and use those things a bit more. Yeah. Oh, Brad, anything else that you sort of liked at the expo?
Not too much. I guess that was the main crux of it for me. Like I said, the wheelchairs and just the manual wheelchairs, and just seeing what's available in terms of thinking forward over the next 12 months to 2 years, potentially upgrading, in seeing what's available in terms of the lightweight chairs that are now available with carbon and titanium, and amazing technology going into them was pretty awesome to see, and try and have them all right there to trial right there and then was fantastic, and talk to the people that are actually making them, so give a bit of feedback and find out exactly what goes into it. So yeah, it's just another area I'm very interested in anyway, from that technical side of things.
Nice, thank you very much for contributing. That's some good stuff. Now I might jump across to Hue. Hue, I had a little chat to you earlier, and you were saying that you're looking at some exercise equipment that you found interesting, which is sort of looking towards doing leg ranging motion equipment for exercise. What sort of stuff did you see at the expo? Hue? Yeah.
Oh, hi, thanks, Pete. There's a few things I saw I really like it, and I mean, as Brett and Naz already mentioned, the 3D print wheelchair. Well, that one is really good, and so I was thinking, well, my next wheelchair, I'll probably go for that one. The only problem with that one is they don't use a folding chair. You can only use for the one that you can't fold. Yeah, the fixed chair. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, widget. Yeah.
Yeah. The other things that I really like is what they call a motor mat. I don't know whether you can see it here. This one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I have one at home, which is I have it over 20 years ago. The one that I have at home is more a manual one, so you have to use your hand.
What was the name of it? I'll just bring it up to share it as well.
I send this one yeah. They call motor mat. So this one is you can use an electric. You can plug in you can either use a plug in as an plug into the powers and to move your legs, or you can use your hand to cycling it. Because with my shoulder it's getting weaker, so I thought maybe next time I will buy this one so I can use it. The reason I use this one is because for circulation, I found that if I don't use it, I have my legs are swollen. So every night I will do it for 20 minutes, and then my legs will be fine the next day. So every day.
And fitness too, it'd be good to get your heart rate up, and I suppose that's part of the circulation.
That's right. Yeah.
That's a good idea. There's lots of different types of these sort of arm exercise type. You can even get ones that are power assisted, like Hue's got, that you can plug into power, and it gives you your level, and it also puts you on like a course. Like imagine going up hills or different impedance on the resistance on the actual driving it. So you don't necessarily have to have leg function. You can just put your feet in there and move. Because you don't have leg function, do you, Hawaii? Yeah.
Sorry?
You have leg function?
No.
Yeah, so you use it totally just to put your legs in there and get circulation going.
That's right. So mine is for circulation. That's really helped me. Yeah.
Yeah, no, fantastic. Was there anything else that you saw that you liked? Why?
I think the clothing, as Nes mentioned before, and the shoes that I think someone mentioned the shoes, the Billy one, the one that with the zip going through. That's one I really like those shoes, so it's make it easy as well.
Yeah, they were great, and they looked. Even that was a zip that was zipped right across the top and around the shoe.
That's right.
Yeah, it looked actually quite. It didn't look like a zip. It looked like a quite trendy sort of, or a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to one of the talk. They call the C brace, C like the alphabet C, ABC brace. But that one probably is more for people who have some movement on the hips, so they can use it. And that was very interesting talk. So I thought later on they might go, the technology is going to get better. So hopefully we all can stand up and do a bit of walking.
Yeah, tell us about the C brace idea. Yeah.
The C brace is for people who have some movement on their hips. Maybe Nes can put it up there.
Which one did you want me to put up? Why?
Yes, please. So you can put up so people can see it. They can wear that brace and it will help them to walk. But some people be able to walk with the C brace when they have a better hip movement. And because most of our spinal cord injury don't have hips movement, so it doesn't really help yet. But hopefully the technology will get better, and so we'll be able to use it.
Oh, cool.
Jason is going to ask questions.
Go for it, Jason. Yeah.
Yeah, just back on the Moto Med. I've got one of those myself, and when it's actually got a feature with it that it'll start mechanically pedaling, but you can take over as well. And the machine notices if you actively start pedaling, it will back off. And if you stop pedaling, then it takes over again.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so I just thought I'd mention that anyone that does have a little bit of leg movement, it's still really good for exercise, but you can contribute as well, and you can change the resistance on it. So,
yeah.
So it sort of picks up.
Thanks, Jason.
And can help you and assist you, Jace. Yeah. So it's not like an on and off thing. It's more assistive.
Yes. Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's all.
Thanks, man. That's good. Yeah. And what about you, Hawaii? Was there anything else that you liked?
No, I like a lot of them. So some of them are Nes already mentioned. So yeah, that's all for me. Thank you.
Yeah, I got around, had a bit of a look around, and I always look for technology type things. And I was really surprised the amount of companies that are starting to come in with environmental control, like things that you can turn on lights and PowerPoints or just things. And that used to be something that was really expensive many, many years ago. But now it's getting better and better and priced, and it's moving quite fast. And these companies are really interesting in what they could offer in equipment and things that you control with your phone, so that you would have in your house, in your own environment. So yeah, that was really good. I liked those sort of interesting things. And I asked them questions about NDIS, if they could fit into like low level AT, and they said they would break prices up if they were over that low mark, that you could get it through as into NDIS. So it might be front door openers, it might be slide door openers. There's a lot of curtain openers. There's anything that you can imagine you can. There's concepts there to start controlling your house a lot more through your phone. and voice activation, which is really interesting. Yeah. So you're going to see that stuff take off a lot as you know, as it's coming on now. It's really good. Yeah. So yeah, always have a look at the cars. I'm a bit of a car person, so like Jack said, there's only a couple, but 6 major manufacturers out there now, showcasing the type of different vehicles they've got, and you know how flexible they can be in the way they modify vehicles for people. So that was really, really good too to see. Something I like to catch up with. Was there anyone that was at the expo that we haven't that hasn't spoken, but like to share anything that they saw? Put your hand up or pop you up. Yeah. But we might jump over to Josh at Talbot, and if there's people there have any questions, I'd love to go ahead with that, and then we'll jump over to other people's questions.
Well, it's only me, Colin, and Lynn left, but we had a few others in, but they all had other appointments or were getting a bit, I guess, a bit tired. But Naz, the one thing they said was they were disappointed they didn't, you know, firstly they didn't know about it and they want to go next time. So when's the next one?
You're on mute, Naz.
Naz, or Peter.
Okay, so
when's the next one, mate? So when's the next one coming up? And I guess it'll be on us to let everyone know.
Yep. I did get that feedback quite a bit, Josh, that people didn't know that it came on. And
yeah.
You know, I think maybe because the funny COVID year we had and things like that, it may be touch or go or not well publicised, but you know, we sort of found out about a month before. So we shared it through our networks, but not everyone's looking at it all the time, which we understand. But they usually are in Melbourne every 2 years. So it changes between Melbourne and Sydney, but I've seen they've brought Perth on as well. So from Melbourne, they went straight to Perth Expo, but they're generally in Melbourne every 2 years. Expo at the Royal Melbourne Showgrounds.
That's right.
And we're recording this as well, Naz, aren't we? So we'll be able to send this out to everyone if they want to review it.
That's right. We'll do that in a couple of days, put it on YouTube. But,
and did you get a free coffee when you attended, Naz? Was that?
Yeah, it was completely free, and part of the registration, so it was free parking and you got a free coffee. Don't tell anyone, I registered 10 times.
And if you wanted, you could get a COVID test, because the COVID testing station was right next door.
Exactly. Yeah, no, sorry, no, they're all quite intrigued, but yeah, I think 90 minutes was enough of their attention span. So yeah, thank you.
That was fantastic. And with this year's ATSA too, I mean, why a lot of people didn't know about it is it was postponed a couple of times. And when it did happen, when it did go ahead, we were really lucky that it did, because a week or a couple of weeks either side, we had restrictions, so it wouldn't have gone ahead. You know, so it was good timing. You know, the ATSA gods were working with ATSA, I think. Lindsay just made a quote. I just shared a screen of some of that adaptive footwear. He said one of the zips or something broke on his after 12 months. I'm just having a look at that website too with the adaptive shoes. There's a whole range on there. You know, it's really good to see a lot of stuff that I wasn't aware of as well.
Hey, Grant, might bring you on board. Grant, did you go to the expo? Oh, Grant, oh, here he comes.
Yeah, sorry. No, I couldn't make this one, but I've been to previous ATSA expos. And this year I logged onto the website and looked up all the companies that were exhibiting. So kind of I was there, but not there. So I kind of looked at what they were advertising this year instead.
Yeah. Well, I suppose it's a good central place to go to, which you can still go to now, look at talks, and also look at all the different companies and organisations that were there, jump on the links and sort of look around virtually on your computer.
Yeah, so I really enjoy kind of, even if you can't go face to face, I look at the exhibitors and use keywords in Google and take a look at and see what other companies are offering in that similar space. And yeah, it gives me a good impression about where developments are happening in the accessible arena, really.
Awesome. Yeah. No, thanks for that, Grant. Now we might open it up to go, Naz, sorry.
Oh, so I can't just ask, with that footwear from Every Human, do they have wide ones for fat feet? I'm included in that group, and there's a filtering thing on there, Con. It actually looks really good. You can select between a medium width and wide width. And yeah, I'm just having a look, there's 10 options for wide feet, I guess. So this is a pretty handy website. I can share the screen if people want to see that, but yeah, let's we've only got a few more minutes before we stop recording. We can stay on and ask some more questions, but just wondering if anyone's got any other questions or want to comment on any of the things that we've gone over so far.
I just figured I'd point out it's something that I'm following up on and looking at the moment, but someone mentioned the warranty possibly of some of these products. I can't see, sorry, my dog is going crazy in the background. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but he's kind of going crazy. But I'm looking into what warranties may apply for some of these products. It isn't very clear on their website from what I can see at the moment, but I'd like to look at that in further detail, and I may, if I find any more information, I'll mention that to Naz and Peter, and yeah, we can just go from there in regards to that products dying after 12 months issue.
Nice. Okay. Thanks for that, Grant. Yeah.
What I might do while we're chatting, Peter, I might just quickly show the list of exhibitors there on the day. So while we're chatting, I might just show that because it's a huge list. And I'll share this with everyone too in an email.
So is there any questions or chit chat that we'd like to talk about? We're talking about, I think, leg bags or bladder washout before. If that conversation wants to continue, I'm happy to do so. Yeah.
Can I add to that conversation?
Absolutely.
About the bladder wash idea with using all them different products. My urologist, I get exactly the same thing, white gunk that builds up. I do a bladder wash every second morning with just white vinegar from the supermarket. And it cleared it up within a few days, and I do it every second morning, just 15 ml of white vinegar and 15 ml of water. Push it in, leave it in there for a couple of minutes and let it back out again. Haven't had a problem since. And my urologist said, just keep it simple.
No, good point. They're really good, lots of different remedies and the bladder washouts. That one's a nice organic one. I like that, Jack. Yeah, but you've got citrus ones. You've got. Do you know much about them, Jane? The different types.
Hey, is that for suprapubic? Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. So we don't actually have any suprapubics or indwelling, but I would recommend if they're going to, just from a clinical point of view, if you're going to do that, maybe just touch base with the urologist or the continence nurse. Just make sure before you do it. Maybe just to keep them in the loop too. That might be an idea. What do you think?
Yeah, Jack, this comes from Jack's.
Yeah, that's his urologist. It's a great idea, but just keep them in the loop too, I would think. Yeah. Yep.
No, absolutely.
One other thing completely different again, with them shoes, the ones with the zips going all the way around, you've got to be a bit wary of the sizes. I normally take a 9.5 wide, or just a 9.5 in normal shoes. I was a size 14 wide when I tried on them shoes and to find the one that fitted me right.
Oh yeah, so it's best to try them on, you think? Jack?
I reckon definitely.
Yeah. So, but I suppose it's a bit hard when it's online. But a good thing too is just pencil out the size of your foot on a bit of paper and measure it, and send them the measurements. Yeah. And just to be clear that you'll be fit into that size. Yeah. So you've got a full list there, Naz.
Yeah, I just thought I'd share all the exhibitors that were there on the day. As you saw, I just flipped through it pretty quickly, but there's heaps on there. So I'll share this through email to everybody.
Good. Yeah.
So you can, just jump on and see what each organisation does, because, I mean, we weren't able to cover everything on there, and yeah, we only selected a few that we thought would be quite interesting for people to expand on.
Excellent. Now, please, we're opening it up. So any questions, go ahead. Use this as free time to talk about anything if you like. Yeah. One question did come up. Someone asked, has anyone had the COVID shot yet? Yeah. So has anyone had the COVID shot? Colin, do you want to talk about that? Yeah.